Heading to the Jeparat Rainbow Storm and the Horsham District Football and Netball League report. Peter Weir, who is with us now, is a bit worried, I think, about a few things as we try to move forward and get something at the end of this season. G'day, Weary. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, Wayne. It's a beautiful day up here in the Mallee, and just trying to work out what might be. Beautiful finals weather, but no footy to be played, unfortunately. And last weekend all the games got cancelled, as everyone knows. And disappointingly, we couldn't get our finals campaign underway.
Good, and it with the Wimmera Football making their announcement of dropping their fifth side out from their meetings and going with a final four, it's now getting a bit nervous for the Horsham District because there's going to be a meeting. The Jeparat Rainbow Storm on their seniors footy, and I think your seniors netty, and I reckon even your junior netty, are all in fifth place. It could be that we're going to lose fifth and sixth for the finals race.
Yeah, hopefully we've got some good representation at the meeting tonight, Flowman, because, it's a bit of a scary scenario for the Jeparat Rainbow Club at the moment with the way the other leagues have gone about it. But it is very hard to know how best to go about it. But, one of the options now presented to leagues and clubs is just to drop back to a final four. So, obviously, finishing fifth would mean the season's over for Jeparat Rainbow. But, hopefully, I think just, if the restrictions can ease as early as possible, they still might be able to create a final six final system. Otherwise, it'll be game over.
It would be. That'd be really disappointing for your club because, when you look back, you'd played everybody once and then they had that final round of matches where you ended up with Harry a second time. They got you pretty comfortably, dumped you from the third place on the ladder down to fifth. So that would be a pretty bad luck story for the Jeparat Rainbow Storm.
Yeah, well, it's a fair drop, isn't it? We'll finish third after we played everyone once and then that extra week. Although we did talk about that as being like a mini finals and that might come back to haunt us, slow man. But we could have, with the new system, been looking at a preliminary final against Rapagna. But after that bad loss, we could drop to fifth, or we have dropped to fifth. And like we just touched on, it could be all over. But this is only speculation, and the league are meeting tonight, and they're obviously going to come up with an idea that they think is as fairest as possible given the scenario, and what will be will be.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, yes, but we know the administrators and those from presidents at clubs are doing everything they can to get back on the park. I mean, you've got to work with the government's decisions, which at this point in time are very difficult for everyone to get around. But it looks like we wouldn't see any games back in Horsham District until what I would reckon would be the 11th and the 12th. That would be the Saturday and the Sunday. That is the first possible date I think things could come back.
Yeah, well, I know they're open to extending the season now, which is a great thing because you play for a full year and finals is what it's all about. And it's spoken so often about, the home and away season means nothing now once the finals start off. And, with this good weather and the footballers getting fit and the netballers fit and everyone's keen and excited, you want to see finals footy get played. So even if it is only over a 2 or 3 week period and there is a compromised final system, I think it's still well worth trying to get the competition back underway and find a premiership winner in each grade.
I think everyone so desperately wants to do that, and I don't think any of the kids of them, they're just longing to get out on the court and onto the footy field across the different grades. And I know that as we look through, say, down to the under-14s, you've got both the Edenhope Apsley boys, they've made it to third place. The Canaiva Cougar boys, they're in fifth place. I was only in their area, just nearly in their area. I'm going to preface it by saying I was at the border of Serviceton. I was not in Victoria, but I was still in South Australia, so I haven't had to quarantine on my trip because I did step over the border, Weary. But I can tell you the people in that area were telling me that the kids from Canaiva, they were really excited to be making a final series in their first year, and they'd be terribly disappointed if they were to get chopped out at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And you look at the Edenhope boys, they've finished third and been a real shining light for their club this year as well. So they're going to want to get into a final series, and it'd be really unfortunate for the Canaiva juniors if they did miss out, because these young fellas look at the older players and the senior players and they aspire to be good footballers, and to be a good footballer you usually got to play well in finals. So this is the time you get tested, and the next Nick Peakins of the competition and the next Ash Clugsons of the competition would have had their chance to shine, and let's hopefully they do.
I hope so. Well, I'll tell you what, the 17s, the two clubs that could be in a bit of bother is Narrabri, Quantong and Rapanyup in that grade. And then in the reserve grade, the clubs that are in 5th and 6th are Rapanyup again. So not great for them for two of their sides, and Pimpernio in that part of the world. All right. Going to ask you then about if we get through to the AFL Grand Final, which is the 2nd of October, and locally you normally have a day where you have your presentations. Likely that with your Wimmera in mind here, they've got two different venues that they've been choosing for both Saturday and Sunday for grand final, separating seniors and juniors. Is that going to curtail what may normally be your Sunday presentation event?
Oh, it definitely could. There's so many different scenarios, and we've just had a committee meeting only recently to try and go through a few of them, but it is very hard at the moment. But we're looking at different options. Obviously, you want your club to be all together, so for a presentation day, ideally everyone's there as per normal, but for instance, the juniors might have to go through their awards in the morning and the seniors in the afternoon if we're limited to crowd numbers. And I know the league, we're looking at streaming the league medal counts and different things like that. So all these different options are being thrown up, but yeah, even at the moment we don't have the chance to do any of them. So the main focus is just the lockdown flow, man, at the moment, and just seeing what the government guidelines are going to be. And there's some good things in place and plenty of good people making decisions, and hopefully once the guidelines are gone, the best decisions will be made after that.
Yeah, hopefully, and maybe even the borders are restored to normal, where we can see some of the players that are in Adelaide that come to your club, and other players that are in Melbourne that weren't able to travel for some of our competitions to play. It is going to be interesting. I know that it could become very intriguing. I know with the situation with Rapanyup, they've got players coming in from Darwin that could be restricted from playing in finals if we get going. So we're going to watch and wait with some real interest as to how we finish off the Horsham District Football and Netball League season. Well, Weary, I know that on the other account, you're also not just waiting to get on the footy field, but you're waiting for a bit more rain. So looking a bit dry at the moment.
Yeah, it is. We definitely need a rain. All the farmers do. And, yeah, the weather would be perfect for football, but just not ideal for the crops. But I think we'll get some rain flow, man, and things will get back on track. And, yeah, let's hope the footy season does. And ideally the SA borders open and the Melbourne borders open, and we can all get back to the footy and watch a great final series, because like I touched on earlier, you know, this is players' chance to shine, and a lot of hard work goes into a footy season, not just from the players, but the people cooking the barbecues and organising the club. So it'll be fitting to have a good final series after a couple of tough years affected by COVID, but we'll just have to see what the next week and 10 days brings.
Yeah, spot on, Peter. Is not just the kids and the games being played by the guys that are getting that 300th game. It is the joy of playing sport, and that's what we want to focus on. I wish maybe those in our governments were thinking about that in regional areas, particularly given that's one of the only pastimes we have. Don't have all of the other types of things that technology and other things that necessarily others have. Weary, on that note, I'm going to talk to you next week, and hopefully we're further advanced and we're talking about getting back onto the field soon.
No worries, Wayne. I better go for a run.